first, before we go any further, and I promised all the stations and all you folks we'd get a direct report from our friends at Cumulus Media. And with us on the line is Mark Rosenblatt. Mark, I know that you're there in the TOC, and folks, this is the Technical Operating Center. This is the center that actually puts us up on the satellite, and we send all of our information via ISDN to Mark, and he and his team make sure that we come down across the U.S. To our stations. Mark, thanks for taking the time to join us.
You're welcome, and good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, sir. Give us a 30,000-foot view of New York City. What's it like today, and what's it been like over the last couple of days?
Today it's a lot better than it has been over the last couple of days. I actually live in Brooklyn, which is part of New York City, and drive into Manhattan to work when I do work. And I have been working the last couple of days. And as I drove through southern Manhattan, it's the first time in my 40 years of driving that I've ever driven in complete darkness through Manhattan. No traffic lights, single file, everybody's being ultra careful, and at the same time, I should say that when I come into work, I'm coming in very, very early in the morning. For instance, this morning, I arrived here at 4 a.m., left Brooklyn at 3 o'clock just to be extra careful, and this morning, there are more areas of Manhattan which are lit up than have been over the past 3 or 4 days.
Did you get at your home, Mark, any problems or any damage?
Where I live in Brooklyn, no. But in other areas of the city, many of which I've lived in the past, there was considerable damage, especially. A lot of people don't know that much of New York City faces the Atlantic Ocean, and parts of Manhattan face the New York Harbor, the Harlem River. The east side of Manhattan is the East River. And there has never been a surge like this, which has affected most of the ocean-facing sections of New York City, which include those in Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. And as you may have seen, in lower Manhattan, the part of Manhattan facing New York Harbor, there was a surge which actually came up on ground and actually flooded some of the subway tunnels that connect New York and Brooklyn.
How long do you think it will take before the city even crawls again?
Well, I'm not really good at predicting the future. And in fact, I don't recall the past very well, and the present's not so hot as far as I'm concerned. The city has come a long way in the last few days. This morning, I saw sections of the city that were turned back on electricity-wise as far as late yesterday afternoon. I would think that electricity would return to most of the city within the next couple of days, although the outer lying areas and some of my favorite parts of the city, like the Rockaways in Queens, a beautiful beach area, were devastated, as was parts of southern Staten Island. They're not going to come back right away. And what you see on TV as far as the coast of New Jersey goes, there's real devastation there.
You know, we went through Ivan on the Gulf Coast in 2004, and unless you've been there, done that, you really can't appreciate the devastation. And to call it an inconvenience is way understated. Did you lose power at the TOC, at the Technical Operating Center there, with regard to?
No, this part of Manhattan was fairly secure, and we have 2 or 3 layers of backup. Not only uninterruptible power supplies, which are good for 24 hours, but in case we go down, we have a diesel-driven generator, which is good for 3 days. In the past, there have been instances where we've lost power, and the transfer to backup power was, well, invisible. And, no, it could happen. It seriously could happen. And every major broadcast operation has backup power supplies at their command.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time and for sharing with us and just this impromptu invitation to share with folks across the nation just what it's like to be there in New York. And congratulations to Cumulus and to you and all your team for doing you know, you're always there. You're in the background, Mark, and you make us look good because we're Major Bentley Bill is very specific with regard to times and cues, but it all comes, our show comes through you and has for 20 years.
Right, right. And I've been here for all those 20 years, too.
You have. And I thank you. Thanks for the report. And I wish for you and for everyone along the East Coast that is and has suffered the speediest of recoveries. I'll just say this. I know what it's like, and this too shall pass. And when you come back, we'll all come back stronger than we did before. I know that, and I share that with you so that you can share it with your friends.
Will do. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you. Mark Rosenblatt, Cumulus Media, as a gentleman that's been around and helped us to broadcast for many, many years.